Well, we have a long, storied history when it comes to games against Colombia.
Colombia, I mentioned they're unbeaten in 21. Their longest ever unbeaten run was a 27-match streak they had in the early 90s, which was that great era with Asprilla, Rincon, Valderrama, Leonel Alvarez, Andres Escobar, etc., coached by Francisco Maturana. You ended up playing that Colombia team at the 94 World Cup and beating them, probably the greatest moment of your playing career.
For those that have never seen the 30 for 30 over there, by the way, I think it just dropped on Netflix. So you can, if you have Netflix, you can check out the two Escobars when it comes to that. All right, so we already mentioned a couple of question marks when it comes to this national team. I have my starting 11. Now we did this before, and I have since kind of tweaked it here or there. And again, it goes back to what this tournament is, what we want it to be, what we think it's going to be. So I'm going to give you my predicted starting 11. Actually, this is my starting 11. This is what I would do. Who the hell knows what Greg Berhalter is going to do, and who knows what everybody else is going to do. But and I mentioned that from a formation perspective, I am still staying with the 4-3-3 that we have seen. The incumbent continues on in goal with Matt Turner, but things certainly can change going forward, and it has not been a great couple of years for Matt Turner from a club perspective, but I still think that he is the number one, and I still think, you mentioned James Rodriguez, I think that there is a different type of Matt Turner that shows up when it comes to the national team. Now, the back line, Jedi over there on that left-hand side, the good and the bad, but there's much more good. But at times, sometimes he can look a little crazy, but he's coming off of a very, very good year and just steady force out there on that left-hand side. Tim Weah, who I want to get on the field. And in the past, we've talked about, the Alphonso Davies and these people that in name only are playing in the outside back position. And so maybe this ends up being a back three, to my friend Stu Holden's delight here. But Tim Weah, I'm putting him on that right-hand side in place of Serginho Dest because nobody has stepped up to that position. And then I got Cameron Carter-Vickers, and I wanted to put Chris Richards in there, but I thought back on it and said, you know what? I'm forcing it with Chris Richards. I'm still not sold on Chris Richards, and so I'm going to put Tim Ream back in here. And I just humor me for now, but I don't yell at me if at some point going forward before the start of the tournament I change it back. But right now, Chris Richards, through no fault of his own, he hasn't done anything. It's just the way that I still have yet to be convinced about Chris Richards. I know there's someone that say, well, then we should see him and you should put him there. But I'm going to put Tim Ream there. Same three in the middle, and I know some people have some qualms when it comes to that. And we mentioned earlier about what Tyler Adams is and what he maybe isn't going forward. And then up top, I'm putting Reyna out on that right-hand side, but he has carte blanche to go wherever he wants, even draw deep, which I know people scream and yell about. Pulisic continues over on the left-hand side, and then I got my red-headed friend, Josh Sargent, up top. So I am having Josh Sargent, at least for now, replace Flo Balogun, who I still think has yet to live up to the hype.
Yeah, one of the overarching questions this summer is Reyna's position when he starts games. Is it going to be as the 10 with just two guys sitting behind him, or is he also in the mix for one of those wide attacking positions? So yeah, right off the bat against Colombia in the first friendly, you're putting him up top and still preserving that Adams, McKennie, Musa midfield. So you think that's the way to go. Now, obviously, it plays into that, the fact that you put Weah at right back. Otherwise, he would have been a candidate for one of those winger spots.
Yeah, I mean, I am forcing some things here. And I am, I guess, forcing Gio Reyna on the field. Because if you look at the performance of Weah over the last few years, I know Christian Pulisic is in a wonderful moment right now, but really from a consistency perspective and somebody who consistently uses his speed to get behind the defense and cause problems, it's Tim Weah who's done it for the most part over there on the right-hand side.
So let's say Berhalter decided I need to have a true right back to go up against Luis Diaz in this game, and he played a Joe Scally there, then that would only leave room for one of Weah or Reyna. You would then put Weah in the lineup, and then Reyna would sit, or would you then take out one of those three midfielders, Adams, McKennie?
Wow. It depends who you're playing, but there's a part of me that says, yeah, Reyna, you're out. But there's also a part of me that says, you know what, we'll throw some caution to the wind and we'll have him play at the point of a three in the midfield. Again, he can, carte blanche to go wherever he wants. But it does take that dynamic that's evolved over the last few years of those three in the midfield out when you're, I guess, taking Musa out.
And again, that's the first of 2 U.S. friendlies before the Copa America. The other one is against Brazil in Orlando.
In Orlando?
Yeah.
Okay, that should be fun. So wait, so the first game is Saturday, and then the second game is later on the following week?
Correct.
Okay. How many days before they actually play Bolivia? So
Bolivia's on the 23rd.
Okay.
So there's a pretty big gap there if they can recharge their batteries.
But see, that's good because you'll have a set of data points there over those last 2 games to tweak or fundamentally change or continue on and say, hey, we've really kind of found something.
And
here.
keep in mind, we still don't actually have a Copa America roster. The roster he named was for these 2 friendlies, and then afterwards he's going to decide. He's going to have to cut at least one because he named 27, and the Copa roster can be no more than 26.
We're getting into it, my friend. I mean, this is upon us. I'm getting excited. I know we get excited about the club situation and all that, but summers are built for tournaments. Summers are built for the international game, and summers are built for the experience. And this summer, as we said, with 2 tournaments going on simultaneously, for those that like the game, you are going to be given everything that you want and more from morning until late at night. You like that clip? Well, my State of the Union podcast drops twice a week right here on my very own YouTube page. The only way to stay up to date is to hit that subscribe button down below. Size the day, and see you soon.